Like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it.
The PC Gambino.
Like, they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They're like, oh, okay, thank you, brother.
YNW Melly is now facing what could be the final chapter in one of the most dramatic and complicated legal battles in hip-hop history. After years of delays, mistrials, new evidence, and countless twists, the death penalty is now back on the table. Melly, whose real name is Jamell Demons, has been behind bars since 2019, waiting for justice to be served, one way or another. But things have taken a dark turn, and with each passing day, the pressure is building. Melly may soon be forced to face the harshest punishment possible under the law, death. The story begins with the tragic deaths of two of Melly's closest friends, Anthony YNW Sackchaser Williams and Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr. These weren't just random guys. These were his brothers, part of the YNW crew. People he came up with and shared dreams of success with. On October 26, 2018, everything changed. Sackchaser and Juvie were killed in a shooting that prosecutors claim wasn't a random attack, but something far more sinister. According to the prosecution, the shooting didn't happen in the streets, but inside a Jeep. They argue that the shots came from inside the vehicle, and they believe Melly pulled the trigger. It sounds wild, but the evidence prosecutors brought forward is making people take notice. Surveillance footage, text messages, GPS data, and even social media activity from that night are being used to build a case that paints a disturbing picture. One of the most talked about pieces of evidence is a message prosecutors say came from Melly's phone just hours after the murders. It reportedly said, "I did that," followed by a smiley face emoji. To many, this seems like a chilling admission, but this case isn't just about what was found on phones or in surveillance videos. It's also about what people close to Melly have said, or haven't said. One of the biggest bombshells came when a gang member claimed that Melly told King Von something extremely disturbing before the incident. According to that person, Melly didn't directly say he was going to do anything, but he made it clear that he had serious issues with his two friends. He supposedly felt like they were trying to extort him. The YNW crew had a business together, making money from music, shows, and merch. Everyone had a share, each member including Sackchaser. And Juvie reportedly got 25% of Melly's show money. That's a big chunk of cash, especially when you're becoming a star. If there was tension over money, that could have easily turned into a dangerous situation. Melly's frustration was allegedly growing. Sources say he felt pressured, financially and personally, by his crew. Prosecutors believe that's the motive, that Melly felt like he was being taken advantage of by the very people he had helped bring up. To back up their claims, they presented messages, photos, and even a Facebook Live video recorded just 6 hours after the murders. In that video, Melly and another YNW member, Bortlin, are seen dancing, laughing, and looking completely unbothered. It didn't look like two people who had just lost their best friends. It looked like they were celebrating. Then came the analysis of the crime scene. A police sergeant named Christopher Williams gave detailed testimony about what the physical evidence showed. His conclusion? The shots came from inside the car, from the left back seat, the seat prosecutors say Melly was sitting in. That detail changed everything. It wasn't just about emotions or rumors anymore, it was about science. Based on bullet trajectories and blood patterns, investigators said the shooting wasn't a drive-by. It happened inside the Jeep. To make matters worse, Juvie's mother took the stand and confirmed who sat where in the car that night. She pointed directly to Melly as the person who sat in the left rear seat, placing him exactly where the prosecution said the shots were fired from. That testimony was powerful. It gave the jury a real sense of who was in the car and what might have happened. But even with all of this, Melly's legal team has not backed down. They have fought every step of the way, pointing out gaps and flaws in the prosecution's case. One of their main arguments is that there's no murder weapon. Despite all the time that's passed, no gun has ever been found. In a case where forensic evidence is key, that's a major hole. The defense also brought forward text messages between Melly and his ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, that show Melly was scared, running, and hiding shortly after the incident. They argue that Melly wasn't the mastermind. He was just another victim trying to escape a dangerous situation. Mariah's role in this case is complicated. At one point, she was considered a crucial witness. Investigators even accessed her iCloud and found suspicious messages between her and Melly. But when it came time to testify, she changed her story. She said she didn't remember what happened in 2018. She said that year was one of the hardest of her life and that she wasn't in the right state of mind. She even claimed police had bullied her during their interviews and threatened her with jail time if she didn't cooperate. Because she didn't show up for trial, a warrant was issued for her arrest, and rumors spread that she left town to avoid testifying. But she didn't stay hidden forever. In early 2024,